Welcome to Port Orleans French Quarter. It's one of two Port Orleans resorts. This is the French Quarter one, which is a lot smaller than the Riverside one. I'll show you a map later. This is where you get dropped off when you come in. And nice covered awning in case it happens to be raining, like it has been in the afternoons that we've been here on this trip. Bell Services is technically over here to the right, but they also have a little booth over here to the left. So if you need to drop off your bags because your room's not ready, or then you need them to hold on to your bags because you're leaving, but not until later, that's where you do that. And then you come in the doors here. To your right is the registration. So if you need to register, often you can just do all of your registration online. Then when you get here, you get your room number and you never even have to see these people. But if you need to, then there they are. There's also a shop over there called Jackson Square, which I'll show you later. But they do have some merchandise here. And I love this fountain because it's very New Orleans. And I just love this whole atrium, like, right? It's beautiful. The kind of ironwork plus the fountain, it's nice and cool. Over here is the Sasagula, which is it's a quick service place, but it serves beignets, which we're gonna get some, and I'll show you some video of that as well. But beignets are sort of like donut-y type. New Orleans is famous for it, so this is where you get those, as well as like some other coffee products. And then there's a bar over here, which on Friday and Saturday nights, I understand, has a jazz band. Hi. And obviously not right now, but that's what that is. And then the cafeteria is over here. The thing about the French Quarter versus Riverside, which is the other Port Orleans, is that French Quarter does not have like a restaurant, like a sit-down restaurant. It's all either the cafeteria over here at Sasagula's or it's the bar. But if you wanted to have a sit-down, you could take a boat or you can walk over to the Riverside, which is not that far. So you do either of those. But here's the food court here. And this is lunchtime, lunch dinner menu. They also have breakfast, but you can do mobile order if you want to. But here's some idea of the things that they have. Prime rib dip, Baton Rouge burger, you know, cheeseburgers, typical kind of theme park food like that. Sandwiches like ham and cheese on multi-grain bread. They have the Mardi Gras king cake. Oh, that looks good. Assorted cookies. You can get cookies anywhere. Cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza. I don't like Disney pizza, but plenty of people do. So if that's for you, you can get it here. Feed your whole family. And pasta. Oh, they have shrimp and grits. I didn't know that. I may have to have that later because I love shrimp and grits. And then over here they have gumbo, jambalaya. So some traditional theme park stuff, but also some stuff that you would get if you were, you know, down south. Walt Disney's favorite chili. Walt Disney was a big fan of chili, and they serve chili in bread bowls here. I think that's a great idea. They also have like various wine, either like single serving or small bottles, and there you can get other larger bottles of wine over in the shop. And then other things you can purchase, as well as lots of different types of single-serve drinks, if you want that. And take a look at some of the desserts they have over here, like the cookies and cream cupcakes. That's the gray stuff they talk about in Magic Kingdom. If you go to Be Our Guest, it's a cookies and cream, and it looks just like that gray stuff. They also have the 50th anniversary dessert. I think Josh and I had one of those for free last time we were visiting in May, and it was amazing. And then brownie bites and cupcakes, and then some sandwiches on multi-grain bread. Those actually look really good. And then some danishes. But anyway, so if you need to feed your sweet tooth, or if you're hungry and need to feed your whole family, you can come here and do that for dinner and breakfast and lunch at the cafeteria. I am definitely having this. Banana cream pie mousse, oh yes. Olive oil cake, oh yes. That sounds great. I don't know if it's a 50th thing or they have it all the time, but we're gonna try it. Josh got the jambalaya. It comes with andouille sausage and chicken.
A little bit of a kick already.
Yeah, and it's a little spicy, and like good jambalaya is. Yeah, yes. It came with cornbread, help cool it down. Yes. I got the shrimp and grits, which is huge. I had a bite of it. It's amazing already. It's shrimp, it's ham, and it has a cream sauce and grits, of course, in there. Looks like little green peppers and garlic, of course. There's the cake I was just showing you a second ago. We haven't had that yet, but it looks delicious. All together, this was $34. Honestly, we could have split either of these. We didn't realize how big they were going to be. Came back to the room after our lunch, and everything was delicious. Everything was great. My shrimp and grits is some of the best shrimp and grits I've ever had. But it just looked like it, right? Like, they did it all in a pan right in front of me, so it wasn't just sitting in a pot, and they just poured it out. They put the garlic in, and then they put the peppers in, and then they put the ham in, and then they put the shrimp in. They cooked all that together. And then they put the sauce in. It was like a creamy sauce. That's all it was described as. And then she scooped out a bunch of grits, poured it over that, and it was amazing. Josh, I didn't have a bite of it, but Josh said his jambalaya was very good too. A little bit of spicy, but not too bad, right? Yeah, not too bad. So if you're spice averse, you're gonna hate it, but if you like a little bit of spice, like Josh does, then you'll probably like it. And then the cake was, we were mixed on it. It is an unusual cake. Like, olive oil cakes are unusual. So if you're used to kind of like those real sweet cakes, it's not like a sweet cake. It is sweet, but not the kind of sweet you're expecting. I had a first bite of it and I didn't know what to think about it, and then I started tasting the kind of banana flavor in it and the olive oil cake flavor, and by the end of it I decided that I did like it. Josh was not a fan of it, so I guess taste will vary on that. I think taste will vary on olive oil cakes no matter what, so you should try one to see what you think. But overall, we really enjoyed our lunch experience. Honestly, the real problem was there's too much of it. Like, there's no way I could have eaten all of that, especially since we want to go to the food and wine festival later in Epcot. So I'm like, I can't eat all this. I won't be hungry to have anything there. So consider splitting those dishes if you come here, because they're big and they're kind of expensive. Like, mine was $15 by itself, which is what you'd expect to pay in a restaurant, not like a counter service. But when I got it and how big it was and how good it was, I'm like, oh yeah, I would order this out. If there was a restaurant that served this near my house, I'd get it all the time, and I'd absolutely pay that much for it. But we would probably split it at that point because it's just so much food. We're going to get some of the beignets at Scat Cat's Club Cafe. Here's the rest of the menu. That way you can see what they have. It all looks pretty good. And here they are, the delicious golden brown beignets. And we got the chicory chocolate and the strawberry. And then a couple of things of milk. And ended up being just under $16 for all of this. All right, let's do a room tour. We are in room 2145, which is in a building that's pretty much right next to the front and near the pool, which is kind of awesome. So there's the front door there, like we walked in. And if you walk in, there's a window to the left. Our view is not, anything spectacular. It's the playground, and then the pool is over there. And we're on the first floor, as you can see. One thing I like is, there's our bag with our leftover beignets. 6 was too much for us. They do little Mickey made out of beads, which is really cool. And, we got a housekeeping team. We declined housekeeping, or mousekeeping, I think is what they call it here. But, so I don't know if we're going to interact with them, but that was nice that they left a message. And so we do have a connecting room, although we're not connecting, so we're just going to keep that locked. 2 queen beds, which is pretty standard for the most part. And lights above each bed with individual controls. And one thing I love about a lot of Disney hotels, especially if they've been redone, is they have USBs. So you have the 2 plugs and then you have a USB in there. Although the one on the left I don't think is going to work because it looks like it's missing the USB piece. Which is not a big deal because we have a big USB brick. Here's our bureau, essentially. I'm sure the fridge is in here. Yep, there we go. It's a pretty decent sized fridge too, and it's an actual like fridge, not the kinds of coolers that the like Pop Century has, for example. Yeah. And nice big drawers. We have a coffee maker and an ice bucket and some teas as well as coffee. And we don't need to hang any coats because it's the middle of summer right now. But there is a coat rack and with a shelf. I always like this. Here's our names up there saying welcome, which we've only seen at moderates and deluxes. Like, we've never seen that as far as I remember, but I'm pretty sure I remember this correctly at the it's not economy, it's value, the value resorts. There's also a table over there. I mentioned the beads were on it, but there's a nice table over there, which is good because I'm gonna have to work a little bit from this room, and I'll be using that table on this trip. There's the vanity, 2 sinks, love that. Lots of space at the bottom, extra towels, and a makeup mirror if you need it. Over here is a place to hang clothes. So it's not like a closed wardrobe, but if you want to hang anything, you can hang it here. There is I guess that's a full-size ironing board. Seems a little bit smaller, but it's more than like the little tiny ones, and of course an iron. Extra pillow and blanket if you need it. And here's the safe and instructions on how to use it. I don't think we're going to use that. And then the bathroom in here actually has a tub. Sometimes they don't. It does kind of have the rainfall shower head, but it doesn't have the hand sprayer that some of them do. And it does have the H2O products that are stuck to the wall, so rather than having the little ones that people can take. And there is a clothesline. Last time we stayed someplace, the clothesline didn't work, so I wanted to try it this time, and sure enough it does. Because we do plan to swim while we're here, and we like to hang our bathing suits from the clothesline. And then, of course, the toilet down there. But yeah, the only thing separating the 2 rooms is a curtain, as opposed to like the Caribbean beach, for example, where it's actually doors that close. And I'm pretty sure at the Pop Century and the All-Stars, there's a door that closes there too. I could be wrong about that. I have to look at my own videos about it. But yeah, this room will be perfectly adequate for what we need it for on this trip. For a moderate resort. So we clicked off that main screen, and we have this one here where little things happen, like when he first switched here, like a confetti spiral in the Mardi Gras colors came out. Now there's a little boat going across here.
This is what connects the 2.
And you can see French Quarter here, and then in the back, so you can take a boat from the French Quarter over to Riverside, which is another Port Orleans. It's bigger, and it's more like bayou and mansions, whereas this one is more like French Quarter, like the name implies. And then the boat, if you go the other way, will take you to Disney Springs. So that's why they have like the balloon up there. One thing I also wanted to mention, I forgot to do this, there is plenty of space under the bed. So like if you want to put a suitcase somewhere, like if you're coming for a long time and you're unpacking, then you can put your suitcases under the beds. The name of their gift shop is Jackson Square. See my New Orleans video for actual Jackson Square. But typical shop, not huge. They do have some soda and some snacks if you want to keep them in your room. More snacks over here. Bread and like stuff to make sandwiches, and stuff for breakfast, like if you don't want to pay for it in the park and stuff. That makes sense. Over here are sodas and some alcoholic drinks and things like Lunchables and turkeys. These are breakfast stuff, I tell you. I mean lunch stuff, sandwich stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. Chips. So all this is stuff you can get in the normal grocery store. But Disney branded candies. More of the alcoholic drinks. Here are luggage. Somebody in one of my other videos asked how much the luggage was, and I said I would look this time. And the little luggage is $159. That's that one right there. And the big luggage is, ooh, it's very light by itself. The big luggage is $199, so $200 or $150 pretty much for the luggages. Strollers if you need one, if you just want to buy one for, I don't know, like 20 bucks and then toss it when you're done. Luggage tags, toiletries, or medicine that you may have forgotten to bring or that you might need. candy, more Disney branded snacks. I love the Chippendales crunchy spicy mix. We just bought some of that. Not here, but earlier. And they also have the Nature's Trail mix. I actually like the crunchy spicy one better. And more candy. And cookies. Oh, and tea. Wonderland tea. Topsy-turvy blend, Tweedledum and Tweedledee blend. Well, that's not helpful. And birthday cake blend. How do you know what those taste like? Magic Band Pluses, which just came out recently. Josh likes Stitch, and there's a Stitch one I was just pointing out to him. And then they have regular Magic Bands down there. Stitch one is cool, pretty cool. Here are cases. Looks like mostly iPhones. Yeah, those are all iPhone cases. And there's Josh. Wow, disposable cameras. Sleeping mask. Magnets. We need to get one from here.
I found pins.
Or a pin, actually. We need a pin from here.
Found a pin.
And more tags. You can put those on keychains and stuff. I think you can probably find those in most of the Disney shops. Nothing special. Pins over here. Tiana branded cooking stuff. Of course, it's Port Orleans. Games. Dolls and toys and kids stuff. And stuffed animals. More toys.
That's Port Orleans stuff.
Interchange your children.
So
Here's the Port Orleans branded stuff. And there's a pin there. And more Port Orleans branded stuff. Typical generic Disney World clothing that you can get. And ooh, this would be cool for like a cruise, right? I do like that. How much are you? You are $60. I will think about that because I am very interested in that. I also like this, Radiate Happiness. That's pretty cool. And monorail playset and big rig and more Walt Disney World. This looks like 50th stuff based on the colors. And yeah, it's a cool dress. And over here's more 50th stuff. I love these kinds of shirts. That would also be good for a cruise, although it's kind of thick, like not the thin kind of cruise material, but I would try it on. Crocs. And oh yeah, I do like that quite a bit. Tommy Bahamas, right? How much is it?
140.
140, yeah, that's what I thought. And then some more. This is mini branded stuff, but yeah. So typical kind of shop. Some specific to them, some generic to all of the resort, and some toiletries and things you might have forgotten, that kind of thing. So it is absolutely worth coming to the shops when you stay at one of the resorts. Here is a directory of the Port Orleans Resort overall. So up here is the Riverside, and you can see that it has many, many more buildings.
Subsections.
Yeah, these are like kind of like southern mansions, and then up here are more like the bayou kind of like buildings. We are actually down here at French Quarter. You can see how much smaller it is. Yeah, it's just pretty much this area here. And we're like right over here actually. So we're not very far. Like this is where the buses pick up. This is where the food court and the registration is. We're just right over here next on this one, pretty much right there. Yeah. And then the pool's over here. So we're not very far from anything. Like honestly, you're not very far from anything no matter where you are here because it's so small. But if you take the boat this way, you'll go to Disney Springs. If you take the boat that way, you can go over to the other resort, Riverside, because there's other stuff to do there. Like you can go fishing there. There's restaurants there. Here they just have like the quick service restaurant
And
like a
jazz
bar,
club.
yeah, like a jazz club. They don't have like a sit-down restaurant place, and so there are reasons why you might want to go to one or the other if you are at one or the other. But one thing I also want to show you is how beautiful it is at night. It's just got that very New Orleans feel. Yeah, it's just crickets. You hear some people. I think the pool is still going right now. In fact, I think we're gonna head that way to get some video of it. One thing that's awesome here is that they have a spa, a little hot tub. In one of my early videos of Pop Century, I made the mistake of saying that that only deluxe resorts had hot tubs. And well, it turned out I was wrong about that, because we went to Coronado Springs, they had a hot tub, and they have a hot tub here. Saratoga's a deluxe.
Oh.
We were at the Saratoga and they did have a hot tub, multiples actually. But anyway, as you can see, this is a moderate resort and it does have a hot tub, which is pretty cool. Like after a long day of walking around, sometimes it's real nice to just sit in the hot water. I'm kind of tempted by that. Run back to the room and get in my bathing suit. When you come in the pool, you're greeted by the evil jester, or, you know, the fun, exciting jester. There is like a kids play area over here. I love these kinds of things. Even as an adult, I love to play in kids play area water park. So that's that. A little bitty water slide. Lots of buckets that just dump on you. Just lots of places to play. And the real star is the pool over here. So there's a water slide there that you saw the kid come out of. So you go up there and just do a water slide. It's not like a big water slide, but you know, water slide nonetheless. And the whole thing is themed after this giant creature, right? Like this is part of the creature here, and then it continues over there and then comes out, and that's where the water slide is. So it's like a sea creature. But yeah, you know, it's not a huge pool, but it's nice. I like the fact that it kind of goes around and you can go underneath. There's an area where they come out of the slide that's kind of separate so people don't run into anybody. But we will definitely be hitting up the pool while we're here. We have our suits. Probably not going to do it tonight, but the pool looks pretty cool.
Very odd in here.
I did not notice from where I was, but there's like a Neptune or a Poseidon riding the sea dragon here. It's pretty neat. Oh, I do love water slides. I can't wait to try that out at some point. They have an arcade here. Lots of racing games. Some air hockey. More racing games. Lots of those. There's a giant, world's largest Pac-Man back there. And more racing games. And it continues going back here, where there's a Galaga, Guardians of the Galaxy pinball. And one of those light games. So it's not huge, but oh, there's massage chairs too. It's not huge, but there's more. There's something to do if you're here and the kids get bored and they want to go play video games. They do have some classic games back here: Ms. Pac-Man, Galaga, Space Invaders, all the different Donkey Kongs, and Mario Brothers. So if you're into those things, you can come play them. And Josh said they cost about what?
50 cents for
50 cents for Junior
and Pac-Man.
And Pac-Man, because they're points, right? They're not
These are like 20
coins.
Cents. These are like 20 cents.
So that's not too bad. Apparently, you can get carriage rides too. I'm not sure if it's just here or if they come from the other Port Orleans resort, but there it is.
Cool.
Yeah, that is really cool that you could hire a horse and carriage and just kind of go around. Those kinds of things aren't normally cheap, and then you have to pay Disney prices on top of that. But I think that's pretty cool. I would take a horse and carriage around. It's either Chip or Dale. It's Dale. He's got the 2 teeth. Good work. It's Dale, yeah. I don't know if this has been found before, but there's a Mickey made of pennies in there. All these little touches. It's so incredible. You know, you wouldn't miss it if it wasn't there. You wouldn't even think about it, but because it is, it makes you happy to see. Like, I love touches like that.
That's the detail of Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they do.
They're good at that kind of little detail. Spontaneous entertainment. You know, other than the wrought iron that you see around here that looks just like it does in New Orleans, and other than like the horse heads here that also look just like New Orleans, one other thing that's just like New Orleans are the street names made of tile on the ground.
In the sidewalks. Yep.
In the sidewalks, yeah. Some of them are very well decorated, some of them are kind of plain, but yeah, on the sidewalk, particularly in the French Quarter, on the sidewalk, on the ground, these are where the street names were. This is before they had signs up.
Burgundy.
Yeah, like
That's the one that stays with me.
yeah, instead of Burgundy, it was called Burgundy. And there was another one that looked different than how it was pronounced.
Yes,
but these
but
are
those
just
are two of the big
an
ones.
example, yeah. There is a playground here for kids with the nice soft flooring there that looks like wood. And playground is for people 5 to 12, and they're expected to be supervised at all times because there's no like Disney worker here. But if you have kids 5 to 12 and they want to come play on the playground, then here you go. I would much rather play on the water playground because that looks like so much more fun. But if you don't want a bunch of wet kids, this is an alternative. Here's Mardi Gras when it's open. It's just a bar next to the pool. All Disney resorts have a bar next to the pool. It's pretty nice. I came here yesterday and had a drink. They have a particular menu. I'll show it to you. You might not be able to see it very well, but you can look it up online. Lots of specialty drinks and things like a hurricane, which is very New Orleans, right? But beer, wine, sangria, some special drinks, and some non-alcoholic ones too. I'm gonna get something, but I don't know what. In case you were wondering about the activities that they have here, they do have poolside activities, a pool party. Those change every day. There's usually music playing over by the pool. They do a Cajun campfire. I'm not exactly sure what that entails. And then they're showing movies too down there on the left. So at 8:30 they'll do the movies under the stars. We haven't been here at that time, so I'm not sure where they do it. Some places do it in the pool area, some places do it near the pool area. And then there's a scavenger hunt too. I actually thought about doing that, but I can't take the time right now because I'm still working. But that sounds like a lot of fun. You can take a boat from French Quarter to Disney Springs or over to Riverside if you want to, depending on which way you go. We happen to be in Disney Springs, so we took the boat back, and here's what that looked like. And here's where the boat docks in Disney Springs. So there's a walkway over here to Saratoga Springs, the resort, and then if you keep going down this bridge here, you walk to Disney Springs, which is not very far, it's just right there. But this is where the boat is to go back once you get dropped off. And there's the boat just coming in, actually. So yeah, that's the boat that goes back. I mean, I assume there's probably more than one, but that is the boat that's here that'll take us back over to the resort.
We're going for it.
Yay. It's a really nice riverboat ride back to the resort. This has nothing to do with French Quarter, but when you're in Disney Springs, you can rent an aqua car and you can go tooling around the lagoon or the river, I guess is the better choice of words. And this is where you come out once you take the boat to Port Orleans from Disney Springs. And here's kind of a map of where we came from. So we were in Disney Springs over here, we worked our way past Saratoga Springs, and then eventually made our way over to French Quarter down here. And the boat continues on that way, going to Riverside if that's where you want to go. But you can take it back and forth to Disney Springs if you want, and it's a nice 14-minute ride. All right, here are our thoughts on Port Orleans French Quarter. What did you think, Josh?
I think the best word I heard to describe it came from one of the housemaids who called it quaint, which I think is a dead-on word to describe this whole resort. It's small, it's intimate, it's quaint.
Prior to this trip, I would have told you that Caribbean Beach was my favorite Disney resort, but I think I have a new one now. French Quarter is awesome.
It is a pretty wonderful resort.
I've mentioned a lot of the reasons why I like it throughout the video, but the biggest reason is it's not very big, and so it's never that crowded. Yes. The buses aren't usually that crowded, unless it happens to be like the last bus of the night or the first bus of the night, like when during the very, very busy periods. But as far as like the restaurant, it's never that crowded, and you can always find a table to sit down, and the pool always has room for you.
And there were always spots to sit at the pool. There were always. It just seems very approachable. It's comfortable. It's quiet overall. Like it's even when the kids are in the pool, it's quiet. So that's always nice that it actually has a certain sense of vacation mode as opposed to nothing against Pop Century. We do love our Pop Century, but it's filled with families.
It's loud.
Filled with kids, and it's loud.
Pop Century's loud
by its nature. Caribbean Beach, quiet but huge. Huge. Getting across that resort takes 10 minutes in and of itself.
We would check in, and then our room would literally be
on the other end of the
so we'd have to walk.
resort.
We'd have to drag our bags across the bridge all the way over there. And then once we were there, it was fine. We never had to go back to that main area. But until the very last day when we had to do it again in reverse. I do think there is a possibility that it can drive you around, or there's like an internal bus system that we never looked into. So to be fair, there could have been something that we could have done to mitigate that. But here, everything is close, right? Like our room
is in the building right next door, but even the furthest building is not that far at all.
No. So outside of our room was the playground, and just a little bit over was the shops and the arcade and the restaurant and
the pool. And
the pool and
the bar,
hopping
the
up
pool, and the buses, everything.
Everything was very, very close.
5 minutes.
And we just happened to get lucky because we were right there. But there's no building that's that far away from anything. So we would absolutely recommend this, and I think it's my new favorite resort. And I'm going to try to book this every time we come here from now on. But it's a moderate resort, so it can be kind of expensive. Like
depending upon the time of year.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, this time of year, it was pretty much $200 a night for us. But if we want to go around Christmas, and of course Christmas is always more expensive, it's in the $300. In my experience, it's usually more in the $250 to high $200s rather than the low $200s like we did this time.
We're just at a very quiet time of year, right after school started, and so it's quiet here, and the prices are a little bit lower.
So your mileage may vary as far as price goes, but the price just happened to fall into what we were willing to pay for it, and we decided to grab it this time. But in most cases, we're going to go for that $144 a night, all-star resort, as opposed to a $250 a night French Quarter. But if I could come here every time, I absolutely would.